All right, so I got to make a quick video on this. Something that's really been getting under my skin, especially in the last week. Some would say this is, I guess, like a red pill moment. Don't worry, I'm not becoming a Republican. The Lone Wolf Podcast is maintaining his status as an independent. Don't plan to change that either. But obviously we've got the whole Rittenhouse situation going on. I'm sure there are some more people who are going to attack Tulsi Gabbard. She's been coming out pretty adamant in the last couple of days about what's going on in this Rittenhouse situation. And so people, I already saw it like, how's the grift going? But, people asked me to talk about Rittenhouse, and I didn't go into it too much just because, in all honesty, as much as I can possibly see where the guy's coming from in terms of his community getting burned down, and I kind of gave my thoughts on stuff like that back at the time, right? Yeah, I don't think what he did was appropriate. I feel like he was just kind of a kid. Kids do a lot of crazy, dumb things. I felt somebody should have been involved to stop him. It's a miracle he didn't get killed doing what he did, okay? And furthermore than that, where are the men? If it came to that point, that the town needed to be defended, why in the hell is it a 17-year-old kid taking up the gun? Where the fuck are the rest of the grown men? Like men, real fucking men, where are they at? Why is there a kid with more manhood than grown men in that town to defend it from getting destroyed by rioters and, looters? Does that make any sense? I would be embarrassed if it were that damn bad, The thing is, so my opinion on it, I've said, and I don't know why he had a problem with the rioters, but I just to kind of touch real quick, my problem always was, all along, that you're not helping a damn thing. You're only playing into the other side that you got a problem with. You're not helping your community grow. Literally, you're burning it the fuck down. That's the most counterproductive thing you can do. Well, what do you expect to get to rebuild? Federal money? You mean the same federal government that won't give you health care, the same federal government that won't fix the education system, the same federal government that can't give you the paid family leave, the same federal government that can't give you the universal child care, these same Democrats that have been selling out the minority community for a very long fucking time, but running on promises that they're going to help them and never do. The same federal government that can find all the money in the world for war, but it's not there. Where's it coming from when it's time for you? Yeah, that's fucking sound logic. So where's it coming from? Well, if it's some big chain, okay. Sure, they probably could afford to rebuild. You might see a price hike in that town. So now people are paying more money for their shit, because they literally had to rebuild every fucking thing. How about the people who got their cars destroyed through no fault of their own? If they get a replacement and can afford a replacement, they got higher car insurance. You know why? Live in a bad neighborhood. Could have already been a bad neighborhood. Now it's even worse. Could have been a good neighborhood. Now it's bad. You know why? Because the insurance companies had to pay out fucking money over those damages. When the insurance company has to pay out money over damages, your premiums go up. So you're putting more of a financial burden on people who had no fucking part in what you're out there fussing about. Why, the small business owner, some of these people were black, and these protests were in favor of Black Lives Matter. Small business owner gets his business burned down, can't afford to rebuild. You know who gets to come in after it probably sits there for a while, driving property value down as just a hole in the wall? The rich. That wealthy land developer. You know, those rich fat cats that right, some on the right and a lot on the left all acknowledge are part of the problem because they control too much. You just help them procure even more at a cheaper price because land value went way down because it's a bad neighborhood. And as it sits there even longer, just like a fine wine gets sweeter or better, and milk and buttermilk gets more sour as time, yeah, the price of that's going to get more sour too because it's just going to keep going down. And then that's when they finally come in. Because holes in these brick and mortar stores don't look good. See, when your town looks wonderful, everybody wants to come. It's nice, it's shiny, it's pretty. Oh my God, look at everything to do. And when you start going through the town and you see closed business after closed business, fire damage even, it don't look good. It's not appealing. You're not drawing people to the town. And guess what? When that starts to hurt the town and the insurance goes up on the building because it's high risk, the property value goes down. This is basic shit. So you didn't help one fucking person with what you thought you were going to do with your little protest, okay? I mean fuck. Again, hey, you want to have a big set of nuts on you and make a statement with these kind of protests? Do it to the people who are actually responsible for your problem. Taking it out on the innocent is a cowardly fucking move. Period. It's a cowardly move. Okay? So, right or wrong with this with what Rittenhouse actually did, and I don't think he should have done what he did, to be clear. He ain't wrong for having a problem with those people out there burning the town down. But in the midst of all this, you got the same people who have a war on misinformation. It's all one big club. Mainstream media and social media all have a war now on misinformation. And yet these were the people who were spreading, without a doubt, the most of the misinformation out there. They said he came from across state lines, giving the impression he's got no business in that town. Turns out his dad lives there. That came out in trial. So it sounds like he might have some business there. His parents are split up. His dad lives there. He had to educate the prosecutor about that little fact. But mainstream media kept painting it as he's some deranged nut that just came from out of town for no good reason with an AR-15 with the intent, I am going to shoot people. His dad lived in the fucking town. He didn't just go, wonder where the Black Lives Matter protest is going to be today. Oh, Kenosha. That's where I'm going. That clearly isn't what took place. So for people that have such a war on misinformation, they're certainly engaging in a bit of it themselves, huh? Ain't that pretty fucking ironic? They were censoring posts when this first started coming out, by the way, too. They were censoring posts of the people who said these sorts of things. People like Mark Dice, who they want to paint as a right-wing conspiracy theorist. And a lot of things where Mark Dice says are crazy. I've made a video earlier this year talking about how wrong Mark Dice was when he defended the cops that pepper sprayed the gentleman in the military. They got pulled over for not having a visible tag when it was very visible in his back. But the point is, okay, Mark Dice was telling us all this, talking about, yeah, he didn't just come from out of town. His dad lived there. He was pointing out things that then social media was then censoring, removing, just like they removed the Hunter Biden stuff that came out to be true. They're censoring all this information because it's misinformation, and then it turns out to be true information, and the mainstream media sources that they promote to no end, they're the ones actually giving the misinformation. So you wonder why more and more people start to believe that, even if they shouldn't. Even if they shouldn't listen to a guy like Mark Dice. I wonder why more people do. If you haven't seen a movie called The Mist, I recommend you go watch it. Me and my wife watched it the other night. I saw it years ago. I forgot the ending and then wished I'd never watched the movie again because it is a terrible ending. But it's a Stephen King movie. It's not a bad movie. Just a fucking... It's one of those endings you get to and you're just like, son of a bitch, why did I watch that? Oh, God, that's fucking terrible. Okay? It's one of those endings to a movie. But the gist of it is, a mist settles in on the town. There's shit out there in the mist. The people don't know what it is. They can't explain it. Some believe the claims that there's shit snatching people up. Others are like, you're full of shit, stop fucking with me, type stuff. But in the middle of it all, there's this one crazy ass Christian lady, Mrs. Carmody or something like that, right? And she's out there preaching with her Bible to people. It's the end of time. She's warping the Bible way out of context. I mean, massively out of... She's taking Old Testament shit and trying to tie it into what the end of time is actually supposed to be. She's fucking nuts. And at the beginning, everyone realizes she's nuts. But as more shit keeps happening that people can't explain, and they're getting more scared, they start to believe her. They start to drink her Kool-Aid. So why do you think that when the trusted sources keep lying to us, and the people who are supposed to be the ones making shit up are getting more stuff right, and people are getting more scared because of those same trusted sources and people like Mark Dice pushing division, pitting each side against the other? Yeah, as people get more scared, they're going to start turning for someone to listen to for answers. And when it turns out that the guy who on some occasions is coming up with some wild ass shit, like the fact he defends Trump to no end, for example, but he's getting it right, he's got a big audience, he's got a big following, more people are going to listen to him. And less people are going to trust the news. The people who consider themselves the real news. They don't want to listen to you because they don't trust you anymore. You've been caught with your pants down and you've been busted lying too many times. This does not take a genius to figure this shit out. Then, and going back to the Rittenhouse situation, so now we get to the trial. People are going to take the streets again because this guy's probably going to get off. Whether you think he should or not, it's whatever. People have their opinions on it. The problem here is, guys, I don't necessarily like what the guy did either. Okay, I don't think a 17-year-old kid should have been hit in the street with a gun. But I do share his frustration with people who just think they can burn the town down because they've got a bone to pick. That's not the way that you're going to get progress. The only thing you're going to do is hurt the both of us. Like, fuck you. Grow up and learn something about actual revolution. You revolt against the people that you got a problem with. Not against me. Not against your neighbors. It's crazy. It goes back to the points I made earlier. So I share his frustration, but I don't think that he handled it properly. And so as a result, guys, here's the thing. The people want this guy to get put away. Well, the problem is he's arguing it was self-defense. One of the witnesses, the defense got a hold of him, and he got him to admit, he shot at me when I pointed a gun at him. Even the prosecutor was like, oh, fuck. That sounds like self-defense to me. I come from the neck of the woods where we always believe someone points a gun at me, I'd rather be tried by 12 than carried by 6. Period. I don't want someone to kill me. And then his argument, well, he didn't actually shoot at you. Motherfucker, I'm not waiting for the bullets to fly if you're pointing a gun at me. No. I was always taught, You don't point guns at someone as a threat. Really, they said you don't pull a weapon on anybody as a threat. Any weapon. If you pull it, you better use it. Because if you don't, you might be the one that ends up dead or really badly hurt. You don't pull weapons on someone as a means of intimidation. You pull it when you have no other choice and feel that you have to use it to save yourself. If you pull it as a threat, now you're putting me in that position where I feel I have to save myself. And buddy, let me tell you, if I can, I'm going to. And I ain't going to shoot you in a little soft spot potentially to just flesh wound you. That way I don't kill you. Because if you got a gun, you might still get a shot off on me, and that one might kill me. So if you're pointing a gun at me, if I can get to mine first and get it off, I'm shooting to kill. Sorry. Somebody might not like the fact that I said that. Well, here's the solution. Don't point a gun at me. Don't point a gun at me. Don't threaten my life, and I'm not going to try and take yours to save mine. Period. There's an easy fucking fix to that solution if you don't like the fact that I would do that. Don't threaten me in that way, and I won't react that way. I don't want to walk around looking for someone to kill. It's not the type of person I am, but by God, if you make me feel like you're going to try and kill me, the game has changed. Things are different. Self-preservation, I'm going to do what I got to do or think I got to do to save myself. End of discussion. I don't really care what your opinion is on that fact. We can talk and have rational conversations about a lot of things, but your opinion on what I should and should not do to save my own life, you can pound sand if you don't like that fact, as far as I'm concerned. And that's common sense. You just don't point weapons at people unless you want to shoot. Now, I understand he pointed some guns at people himself before he actually shot anyone. And that's bad on his part. He's absolutely wrong for it. If somebody had shot him for doing that, he would have had it coming. And I'm talking about Kyle Rittenhouse in this situation. You don't point your guns at people as a joke. And that furthers, he was being a dumb kid. He was being a dumb kid. For whatever the reasons, he was being a dumb kid. He shouldn't have been out there doing what he was doing. That's simple as I can put that. But at the same time, the people who then tried to attack him and pointed guns at him, what you had was a meeting of the minds of idiots that have different political views. That's what you had. You had angry idiots on the left, and you had angry idiots on the right, and they met, and bad shit happened. Because when you put bad things together, you get bad out of it. And that's what the fuck happened. But for the people who want this guy to serve the maximum time, well, I don't think that's going to happen. The prosecution is already fucked up. The judge has already crawled the ass of the prosecutor now, okay? Namely, if for no other reason, he's questioning why the guy remained silent, trying to make inferences about that. And the judge had to be like, he got a right to remain silent. That's basic law. And it's been basic law for a long time. It's in your Bill of Rights. You can't question why someone remains silent when it was their constitutional right to do so. You can, but it's not acceptable. It's not acceptable. So the judge had to fuss at this experienced prosecutor for why he did that. Then at the same time, he had to fuss at him for trying to bring things into the case that it was ruled in pretrial would not be allowed in the case. So the judge had to fuss at him about that. And the defense asked for a mistrial, and the judge has now said that he is heavily considering it. So for all the people who were, no justice, no peace, well, I got a feeling some shit's coming. Because if you think justice is him going to jail, I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening because in actuality, it seems like when he did fire off shots, probably was in self-defense. You've had the mainstream media lying. You've already got reports of certain people connected to Black Lives Matter potentially who were threatening and harassing the jurors. They've already picked up a few of those people. Okay? You don't threaten jurors. You don't try to influence a case that way. That's how you get the shit thrown out. That's how you get a mistrial. You don't do that. And then the judge is already considering a mistrial because of what the prosecution has done. Which leads me to my final point. I know nuts who are on the right too. One that I had a recent encounter with was this Lawrence Mulrooney jackass, this QAnon idiot, when we were talking about the vaccine. And look, I got my own things to say about that. But what he was saying was just off the fucking rails. Okay? This idiot, 5-foot-something troll from fucking Pennsylvania, who's out here making raps about boiling his eggs in the morning. I mean, this is who we're dealing with. Now, he's on the right-wing side of things. He's out here saying that anybody in the middle of... Put your trust in God. God will provide. If your job's mandating you get the vaccine, quit your job and trust in God. I made a video addressing that, and I'm going to go back into that. But that's what we're talking about on the right. But then you've got these dense idiots who... A true commonsensical leftist would not consider them to be leftists. So I'm going to say leftists, but there are probably going to be some leftists who will take offense with this. They would say that they are corporate, neo-shit libs is probably what they would refer to them as. The shit liberals out there. And I would say that term fits probably very well. But then you've got the people that came after me for retweeting a Tulsi Gabbard tweet that she wound up liking because of what I said in it. And they all came after me. And I was able to shut quite a few of them up because I can hang in there with the best of them when it comes to running my mouth. Okay? But then there's this one guy, frickin' little elf Viking looking dude, Dave Martinez or something like that. Go figure, he was born in San Francisco, California, because all the brightest people in the world come from Cali. No offense to any of my viewers who might be in Cali. There are some people that have some sense in California, but overwhelmingly, y'all, not that any of the Republicans were much better, but you didn't recall Gavin Newsom. I'd say that says a lot about California. In a nutshell. Done. That's... Without going too much further into that, though. This guy... This is why I'm starting to use the term liberal logic now. He really showed me there are just some people on both sides of this aisle that are just fucking nuts. I'm serious. I don't know how to describe it. They are just nuts. Absolutely nuts. Okay? This guy literally said, when I mentioned to him about, amendments being under attack, and I don't remember if I think I might have said like amendments being destroyed or something like that. Or no, destruction of amendments. He has since deleted his tweet because it made him look really fucking dumb. But he literally said back that there's no destruction of amendments. So censorship, constantly dictating what we can and can't say, that's not a violation of the First Amendment. Taking away your freedom to assemble over the COVID pandemic, even though you're not invoking martial law, which suspends the U.S. Constitution. It is the only legal way you can suspend someone's constitutional rights, is to invoke martial law and lawfully suspend them under martial law, and they did not do that. So yeah, taking away your freedom to assemble, that's another destruction of the First Amendment. The way they've been coming after guns, they're trying to destroy the Second Amendment. They've been violating your Fourth Amendment ever since the Patriot Act, spying on us. Snowden revealed that to the American public with the NSA. They've violated the Eighth Amendment. Seriously? There's no destruction of amendments. And you're going to see it on screen because I'm going to edit it into this. But remember, he took that one down off Twitter. But then he got into like COVID and this, and he just kept going back and forth and back and forth. And eventually we're just going round and 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 round in circles. And he starts arguing with me about COVID and TB, that they're not the same thing. And I never said they were. I was comparing them because they have certain similarities. And he's making the argument you can't compare them because they're not the same. Because one's a bacteria and the other is a virus. Well, no shit, idiot. Of course one's a bacteria and one's a virus. A simple Google search could tell you that. Where are their similarities at, however? So, certain similarities that they have would be they both affect the respiratory system and your ability for breathing, okay? They both are spread through droplets in the air and can live in the air for up to a few hours. And they both affect, or have affected at least, millions a year. About 1 billion people. Oh, and by the way, when I first brought up TB, his original argument back was that TB's been eradicated. Eradicated. Now, I don't know how y'all define eradicated. To me, eradicated means it's basically gone, if not completely gone. No one's dealing with it anymore. These aren't my stats. This is the CDC and the World Health Organization. Look them up if you don't believe me. Over 1 billion people a year, worldwide, not in the U.S., but worldwide, get TB a year. And about 1.5 million people die from it. That's eradicated. Then well, if you have antibiotics, you can fight it and kill it. Yes, that's just the point. Apparently these people don't have access to that. So if we really want to end COVID, why are we not making sure everyone has access to proper treatments? Right? Same concept. Like, you're saying we need to end COVID, but yet they can't, they already have the ability to fight TB, and the greed is so strong, they're not wiping out TB properly. So why do you think they're going to do it with this? They're going to make too much money off of it, you idiot. God. But it just kept going round and round and round and round in circles. And then finally I'm just like, okay, fuck it. I'm done. I'm not going to go back and forth with this guy anymore. These people are that dense. They refuse to listen. They will not listen. And it is just ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. Okay? And so, finally, I'm drawing away from this, guys. Seriously. This is getting bad. This liberal logic, and someone commented in my video the other day, but liberals don't have logic. Phrase it however you want. I'm calling this liberal logic. That's how I look at it. I mean, I get what that guy is coming from, and don't get me wrong. As I've pointed out, there are people on the right who are just as bad in their own direction of the political aisle. But both sides have massive problems. But the thing with what's going on that I just keep seeing from a lot of these people who are supposedly on the left, they're not doing anything that's going to get progress. They are, it's like their minds are literally just melted. I really don't know how else to describe it. It is a very scary thing to truly realize, but these people are just so done. They believe so many things, and they think somehow that it's working. Like, well, what are you, blind? I mean, seriously, you have to be blind to truly and honestly believe that the Democrats are doing what they've been promising, or that it's only the Republicans' fault that they're not getting what they've been promising they're going to do done. That's bullshit. And then these people get triggered because the Republicans come back and win the next election Because the Democrats didn't do what they said they would do when they ran. They've had the ability and they haven't done it. They haven't done it. 2,000 checks, didn't do it. They didn't do it. All these other things, look how they've done shit the bed now on the Build Back Better thing. All the things that would have been good in there, they done sold the farm. The progressives now, they've gave all their leverage away to get anything done. It's so ridiculous. And meanwhile, all this woke, shit liberal view of society in the world that mainstream media is pushing, they're pushing it for a reason. They're pushing it because they're trying to create more problems. Because as long as there's more problems, there's more shit to report on. And if there's more shit to report on, there's probably going to be more people that want or think they need to quote unquote watch the news. And then they'll be getting more viewers for their sponsors. And then their sponsors can get more money. So the next time you go to your doctor who's supposed to tell you what you need, you can then tell him what you need because that section of CNN was brought to you by Pfizer. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And people have got to start speaking up about these, both sides. Both freaking sides, man. The right and the left that are trying to tear us apart. We've got to start speaking up about both of them. We've got to start saying something about both sides on the people who are doing nothing but trying to hurt us. We really have to. That's my thoughts. You guys let me know what you think. Drop the comments in the comment box down below. Hit that thumbs up button if you like the video. And we'll see you next time right here on the Lone Wolf Podcast. Take care, everyone.